Hey, hello to all you out there and in there, wherever you are, to my fellow beings. And I want to make some recordings here that will be helpful. Hopefully, hope is the key in anything useful. So, how does one decide what one believes is true or not? That's a good thing to consider, isn't it? If you want to really get to where you want to go, you want to have a good map. And so, in order to do a good job of that, there's to increase your chances of getting to where you want to go at some point in your life, then what you want to do, perhaps, is consider using the epistemological approach, which basically is the methods by which you determine what you believe, what sorts of evidence that is good enough for you to give you enough psychic energy or will, fortitude to go forward in what you want to do. So, now I've considered many different types of evidence before. You can go on, of course, you can go on YouTube you can go on Wikipedia and look up evidence, and there's many different types of evidence. You know, it's not just like double-blind studies where the person experiencing, who is in the experiment, nor those administering the experiment know the purpose of the experiment. So I mean, that's not realistic to make all your life decisions based on things like that, because like, who's got the time? Like, if you're gonna double blind study every single thing before you do anything, I mean, you're not gonna do much in your life, you know. Even going shopping, you know. Anyway, so I saw this video online. This is just a little bit of a refresher as to how to go about doing these things. And it was on epistemology from Saints Unscripted. This video at least was a good one. I don't necessarily endorse everything that they say. But then you might ask, well, why should I care what you endorse or do not endorse? Well, that's part of the reason why I'm making this video, is as a bit of a proof that I do have some capacity to determine what is worth paying attention to and what is not worth paying attention to. Because I still have retained, or been blessed to have retained, my sanity, which is not easy to do these days. It's a pretty controversial subject, as many people know. With mental illness and whatnot. Kind of wanted to make a video about that later. But anyway, for now, to at least try to win your confidence to some degree, here are some of the ways in which one can determine what is true. So, first, I'm just repeating what was in that video from Saints Unscripted. First, you got logic, or it doesn't have to be first, but you got logic. So, you try to use your mental powers to determine, does it make sense according to timing, and is there consistent ideas throughout what's presented? And then you got witness testimony, so you can ask people their opinions of what you're considering accepting into your life. If they feel it's true or not. And one more controversial one, intuition. That one can be really off and very controversial. People can make a lot of mistakes with intuition. You gotta, so that one's, you could do a lot of experiments to see if your intuition is true or not, just later on by taking notes of what happens following a potentially accurate intuition. And anyway, so ecclesiastical authority, just straight up trust in one's leaders. Do they have a good track record? And then you got personal revelation, which, of course, this is a Latter-day Saint point of view. I have seeking and have been empowered in the Lord to be a saint of the last days, even with all my weaknesses and insufficiencies. It's not like the view of the Catholic saint that no imperfections, we don't worship the saints. We're just disciples. It's another word for it. Just trying to be disciplined in the ways of Jesus Christ, in the Father, and in the Spirit. And that's, it's a lifelong purpose and refinement program. It's like the ultimate, in my opinion, the ultimate workout program, where it requires the most effort of anything I've ever tried. I'm in relatively good shape. I've tried a few different exercise programs. And I have been to the brink of passing out, but I've discovered how to prevent myself from passing out through breath exercises and whatnot. I could even make myself pass out at will. But anyway, whatever. So, and now, personal revelation, that's a vital one to the saints of the last days. That our prophet has said that we will not survive spiritually if we do not develop confidence in that means of communication. So, there you go. There's a lot to that. A lot more. I'm just going through this semi-quickly. So then you got beauty. Beauty, right? So what's up with that? Well, the point of art used to be, before the modern disaster that postmodernism, that sort of thing. The purpose of art originally, from a documentary I saw, it was on the topic of beauty in art, was to comfort those who see it. It was to be a reprieve from the everyday, a way to get regenerated, feel connected to the core parts of life again. But over time, as people's opinions changed on spiritual matters, beauty became less important. And one of the purposes of art was just to reflect reality and to be gruesome, even to be a wake-up call. So beauty is important to consider, because of to achieve it is exceedingly more difficult than being hideous, because things, it's the second law of thermodynamics, is death. Over time, things die, become hideous, disordered, terrible. But to prevent that from happening, it takes enormous effort and empowerment to retain some level of beauty. So that's vitally important in considering what's true. Scholarship is another one. Studying the history of things. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. You've probably heard that before, and if you haven't, then, oh, that's true. Oh, mercy. I'm telling you. That's true. And that's why we're going to need the Lord's blessings more and more, because it's not popular to remember things, and people are coming up with lots of strange ways to deal with reality these days and trying to deny it, trying to say, oh, we can rewrite history, we can remake history through what we believe, we will change the past. It's like, no, the past is past, there's nothing you can do about it except learn from it and try to make right what you can make right. Get into time travel and whatnot, and as a means of correcting what's in the past. That's just not effective. It's not reasonable. That creates all sorts of plot holes. Like, oh, if you didn't like what happened when you went back in time that time, just go back in time again, fix that, go back in time again, fix that, go back in time again, and you can make infinite parallel universes, and then everything becomes irrelevant, and then everyone goes crazy or something. So, experience, a personal experience. People are like, oh, been there, done that, been there, done that. If I've been there and done that, then you must have experienced what I must have experienced, what you've been through, exactly the same. It's never exactly the same. It's good to reflect on. There's many similarities. But when you look deeper into anything, you'll see that even though it looks very similar, after a while you realize, oh, there's a lot of things that aren't similar though. So anyway, there's a little overview of and an appeal of why you might want to consider listening to what I'm saying, because I burn a lot of calories in my investigations into what is actually going on. And because I'm artsy like that, more artsy. I try to balance the mind and heart. You can do it. That's one of the great mysteries and conflicts in all history. And I submit that the restored gospel of Jesus Christ is the most profound and accurate way of resolving all the seemingly impossible things that there could never be an answer to. There is. But it doesn't come easy. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's not difficult. Because doing the simple things, I've found, most times can be the most difficult thing you can possibly try to do. But it's rewards. There are rewards like no other. So, if you have invested in time with me to the end of this video, thank you. And thank you for looking past my imperfections and just try to look towards the perfection. Patience is key. Okay. God bless you.